No one had lived in house 417 for almost 10 years. Not because it was old, and not because it was broken down. It was because everyone who stayed there left wrong. Now, I didn't believe in that kind of stuff. I was a freelance videographer, and my whole career was built on chasing abandoned places and forgotten stories. The scarier, the better. So when the realtor mentioned a cheap, short-term rental on the edge of a quiet Midwestern town, I didn't hesitate for a second. Just a long stays. Sawarn had made her voice a little too serious. People get uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. It sounded like content gold to me. I arrived in the middle of the afternoon. In the daylight, house 417 looked completely normal. White siding, 2 floors, a porch that creaked just enough to feel nostalgic instead of threatening. It was the kind of house you see in a family movie, not a horror film. Inside, everything was already furnished, as if the last residents had just vanished into thin air. A dusty family photo was still hanging above the fireplace. A man, a woman, and a little boy, all smiling for the camera. Except their eyes. All 3 of them had been violently scratched out. I tried to rationalize it. It was probably just vandalism. Some local kids messing around. It had to be. I unpacked my gear, setting up cameras in the main hallway and the living room, making sure I had every angle covered. Feeling satisfied, I headed upstairs to the master bedroom and crashed for the night. At exactly 2:17 in the morning, my phone buzzed on the nightstand, jolting me awake. It was a text from an unknown number. All it said was, "Did you check the basement yet?" My blood ran cold. I sat bolt upright in bed. I hadn't told a single soul where I was staying. My hands were shaking as I typed back. "Who is this?" The message was immediately marked as read, but there was no reply, just silence. The basement. The thought wouldn't leave me alone. I grabbed my camera and made my way downstairs. The basement door was at the end of a short hall, and it was locked with a heavy iron bolt. It was rusted solid, looking like it hadn't been touched in decades. I swear I didn't see that lock when I first explored the house. With a huge effort, I managed to pull it open. The smell that hit me was overpowering: damp concrete, thick mold, and something else. Something sharp and metallic, like old blood. I flicked on my camera light and aimed it down the wooden stairs. At T-bottom, in the center of the concrete floor, was a single wooden chair. It was facing the far wall. As I got closer, I saw that dark leather straps were hanging from the armrests, clearly meant for restraining someone. And then I saw the wall. Carved deep into the concrete, stretching from floor to ceiling, were hundreds and hundreds of lines. Tally marks. Someone had been down here, counting the days. My heart was racing, but the content creator in me was ecstatic. I was already planning the video title in my head, Trapped in a Tortured Basement. I filmed everything, getting close-ups of the chair, the straps, the tally marks on the wall, and then my camera just shut off. The battery was full, but the screen went black. I checked my other cameras upstairs. All of them had turned off at the exact same time. The next morning, I decided I'd had enough. Content or not, this place was bad news. I packed my gear, threw my bags in the car, and got behind the wheel. I turned the key. Nothing. I tried again. The engine wouldn't even turn over. I pulled out my phone to call for a tow truck. No signal. Not a single bar. The house's Wi-Fi was down, too. The landline in the kitchen was dead. I was trapped. That night, sleep was impossible. I just sat in the living room, watching my now useless cameras, waiting. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the old landline on the kitchen wall started ringing, its shrill noise cutting through the dead silence of the house. I just stared at it, letting it ring. And ring. And ring. And ring. It felt like it went on for an eternity. Finally, my curiosity got the better of me. I walked over and picked up the receiver. For a moment, there was just breathing on the other end. Slow, heavy, and wet. Then, a child's voice, barely a whisper, said, "Why are you in my room?" The line went dead. My heart stopped. That's when I noticed it. At the end of the upstairs hallway, there was a door. A small, white door that I know for a fact, was not there before. My legs felt like lead, but I had to know. I forced myself up the stairs and toward the new door. I turned the knob. It opened into a small, windowless room. The walls were completely covered in children's drawings, done in crayon. They were all pictures of the same thing, this house, and the same family from the photograph. But in every single drawing, standing just behind the family, was a tall, black, shadowy figure. There were no details, just a void in the shape of a person. In the middle of the floor sat a small, dusty tape recorder. With a trembling hand, I pressed the play button. A man's voice, panicked and shaky, crackled through the tiny speaker. "If anyone finds this, it's too late. Listen to me. The house, it doesn't kill you, it replaces you." The tape clicked, whirred, and then stopped. A moment of silence, then it started playing again. But this time, it was a new voice, a voice I recognized instantly. It was my own voice, clear as day. The horrible truth crashed down on me. The family in the photo, they had never moved out. They had been copied. Every person who rented this house left, but something else walked out wearing their face, living their life. The originals, they stayed behind. Down in the basement, in the walls, in the suffocating dark, waiting. That's why no one ever found a body. There wasn't just one. There were dozens. The last night came. I knew what the time meant now. At exactly 2:17 a.m., I heard a sound from the hallway. A soft click, then another, and another. Every single door in the house creaked open at once. Footsteps echoed from downstairs, slowly climbing the stairs. I watched the monitor for the hallway camera, my body paralyzed with fear. And then I saw it. I saw myself walk past my bedroom door. It was me, but it wasn't. The smile on its face was all wrong. Too wide. Too hungry. On the monitor, I watched it open the basement door. The chair, once facing the wall, was now turned around, facing me. The straps were unbuckled, waiting. My phone buzzed one last time. The same unknown number. The message was simple. Your turn. And then all the lights went out. 2 weeks later, House 417 was rented again. A new, eager vlogger uploaded a video titled, "Spending the Night in America's Most Normal House." In the comments section, a viewer asked a simple question. "Hey, weird question, but why does a guy in that old family photo on the fireplace look exactly like you?" The uploader replied quickly, "Haha, good eye, but I live alone." The video timestamp shows it was posted at 2:16 a.m. 1 minute later, it cut to black.